Good day, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I've been making a couple videos that I'm going to splice together with this one regarding this Magic Chef refrigerator for my 2024 Rockwood Ultralight 2706 WS. It stopped cooling. The freezer worked fine. The refrigerator part would not get cold. So usually it's a couple of things that it could be. One is the fan, which I thought it was, and it wasn't. The other thing it could be is the defroster and heater, which I'm going to take a look at now. I determined the fan is working, and the video I shot yesterday I will splice into this one, and you'll see why it's probably the defroster heater element. It was all iced up under the evaporator after defrosting for about 24 hours. I'm going to take this apart again and look into the heater or defroster and thermostat. So I've had it without power on it overnight. I took it out, which is not an easy thing to do. You can see it's got dust on there, but it has those brackets that go up to those screws in the back, and then there's two screws on each side that hold it into the sides of the cabinet space. So I need to take this off and see about the fan. I do have power off of it right now. Again, I wanted to let it defrost, which normally you wouldn't do if you're trying to troubleshoot issues like that. But I had taken this unit out. I wanted to check some things on the back side where the control board is at and the compressor. This is a sealed unit. Uses 600A refrigerant, which is it's like a propane mix. So it is flammable as well, but it is a sealed system. So if it does have a leak and it's causing the evaporator to freeze up, there's nothing I can do about it. It's garbage. And the tools I'm going to use, the Phillips head to take the screws out, a small flathead to pop the little covers over the Phillips head screws that are in the back of the freezer, a voltmeter to use for ohming out the actual element, and possibly a flashlight. I'm just going to use my small flathead screwdriver to pop these two out. Don't want to lose them. And then I got to take out this Phillips head here. There's no cap on it. And to slide this out so we can get the cover for the evaporator and fan off. So I got the cover off. This would be the fan. Looks like it's actually all right. However, there is still ice in here after being unplugged for 24 hours. So this unit is freezing up. It's not defrosting. So it's got a different issue. If it's frozen up that bad, I don't know. It might be there might be a leak somewhere, but I don't see any signs of the residue, which is supposed to leave behind if it is leaking. So I'll do a little bit more investigation, but I'm probably going to end up replacing this thing. So I got all the ice out. The rest will just melt and go down into this little drain. I unplugged the fan, which plugs into here. Again, I did this backwards. Normally would check all this stuff first before going through everything I did. But I kind of figure I'm going to have to replace this thing anyway. And I have a rental coming up in about 24 hours. And I know I'm not going to be able to get it fixed or replaced by then. Luckily, I have another mini fridge. It runs off of 120 volts. and that should be okay for the inverter that's on this camper. And that's my goats trying to get into the camper. No, don't you chew on that either. Always curious. And there's the ice I took out. All right, once you get this cover off, there's 4 clips that hold it in there. It fits pretty snugly. Just got to kind of maneuver it out. This is the plug for the fan. I'm just going to unplug it. Pull that out of there. So this is the heating assembly and a little thermostat. I will need some side cutters, wire tie cutters to get these off. However, I'm looking at this and the way this is under the evaporator, this bracket is made into the evaporator. This might be kind of tricky to get that out of there. These are your inlet and outlets for the evaporator. This will be the inside, the inlet, which would be the high side. This would be your low side to discharge. There's a little screw that may be able to maneuver the evaporator around some. I wouldn't want to move it too much. You don't want to cause a leak or a break in these lines. You'll lose all your refrigerant. And then your refrigerator will be completely useless. To ohm it out, you would just unplug these. They just have little clips on them. They plug pretty easily. And there's connectors in there. So you would take each probe for your voltmeter, turn it to ohms. Probably 20 ohms is all you need. Put 1 probe in each one. Same with this one. I already ohmed it out. It's reading open. I'm gonna guess it's not working. There should be some resistance in there, especially since it's not in the defrost mode. And if it's not in the defrost mode, then it's not going to defrost and ice is going to build up. Also, a word of caution, if you have your hands around here, be very careful. These fins are extremely sharp. They will cut you and you won't even know it. So just be very careful with your hands around those fins. They are, again, very sharp. When you cut these zip ties, just be careful you don't cut the wires. And then what I do is I use my needle nose just to pull it out of there. It makes it a lot easier. Just a little tip for you. So in a way, I'm glad I did take it out and let it defrost that way, because all the water came out. It actually ended up on the floor, so I have my towel there to pick it up. But I think, as you can see, it's probably done it before. And there's no external drain. There's a little drain pan underneath here, but the tube comes down and comes out of the bottom of the refrigerator. And then the water's just got to find a way to get out. Not very good. As you can see with this camper, some campers will have like an access panel to the bottom parts of the refrigerator on the outside of the RV. This one does not have that. This is a completely sealed unit. You're not going to get the back of it off. You would have to pry it. And then this bracket is completely cemented on there. It doesn't even try to budge. So you wouldn't, even if you got somehow were to pry the back of this off, I don't think you would be able to get it off because of the lip on this bracket. Then I'll get the wires hooked back up and stuff it back in here. Alright, I got the refrigerator back in there. Not easy. I would not recommend doing that by yourself. Definitely easier with 2 people lifting it. When it comes to RVs and the screws they use, you can kind of make a Phillips head work sometimes, but this is a square end, and I think it's a number 2. But you definitely need that for anything working on these. The refrigerator inside is actually Phillips heads. I do have this also that's magnetic, which will work great for the screws on the back wall for the bracket of the compressor. All right, just an update from the attempted repair of the refrigerator. I stopped at trying to get the defroster element out. I was bending the bracket up, trying to get it out, and I can only get the front tube out. The back one was almost impossible. Also, I could not find the part. I did an extensive online search. I used AI using numbers off of the tag that was on the cable, what I could decipher or what I could get off of there and let AI decipher it. It gave me a pretty good part number, or what looked like a good part number. I went to Magic Chef directly. I went to Sears Direct Parts. I searched all kinds of appliance places. Nothing. The part does not exist, at least in that world. I'm going to eventually have to replace the refrigerator. Again, the unit is made exclusively for Forest River. So that would be why it has problems, right? Forest River. Anyway, the camper is used for rentals, and it's usually only on the weekends. So instead of leaving the refrigerator on all the time like I would do, just to have people have a cold refrigerator when they receive it, I'm just going to have to turn it on when I get to the campsite, and they're just going to have to wait till it warms up, or they're just going to have to wait until the refrigerator cools off, and then when I pick up the camper at the end of the rental, I'm just going to have to turn the refrigerator back off. On extended rentals, I'm just going to have to bring my other refrigerator. Right now, I mean, that thing's $1,300 to replace it, and I would not go with another Magic Chef, that's for sure. There's a couple other brands out there that seem to be a lot better, and that's what I'll end up going with eventually. But thanks for watching. I'm going to make another video hopefully this week coming up on some things to check for when your RV has issues, some quick things to check to help alleviate extensive troubleshooting. For now, thanks for watching. Like and share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Have a great day.